Lynn Loudermilk here, the practicing crafter, and today I am working with Murano Glass Paints. And I thought these would be great to do a project with a thrifted item that I picked up. I've probably had this in my stash for about a year. I picked this up at Goodwill for $2.99, and let me show this to you. It is a wine carafe that I think is just beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? But I thought it would be fun to elevate the look by painting it with these Murano paints. I did start by cleaning my glass, which I will probably do several times throughout this project because I will be handling it some. And I grabbed my paints and some other supplies. Everything will be in the description, so be sure and check there if you're looking for the colors that I used, what tools I gathered, those types of things. So I saved this packaging from this carafe because I thought it would be absolutely wonderful to use to help me as I'm working through this. So it allows me to lay it on the side so that I can work. That's just a tip. If you have purchased something and it happens to be in the packaging and you need something to stabilize it, that packaging may work perfect. Don't throw it away until you're absolutely sure. As I was thinking about how I wanted to handle this project and how I wanted to paint this project, I just grabbed some glassware to use to test out different designs. Just to share those designs with you, this is one of the designs that I was working on using just two colors, a couple of different shades of blue, and then I did blend those paints in together. I think that's quite cute. I tried this one, which this was my least favorite, but I did use a paintbrush for this effect and for this effect. Both of these, I used paintbrushes. And you can see they're quite different looks. This one, which I actually love, and it almost made the running for creating this carafe. But this one was basically just dripping those down and really trying to get those colors to mix together as they went down the glass. I really like the color combination on this one. And then this one is one I also did as a test. So I did one side with blues, and then I did the other side with pinks and purples. So I actually decided on this paint style and this color scheme. So let's get started. I have the packaging from my wine carafe, and I have my carafe propped up in there the best that I can. And for today's project, I'm actually going to use this palette blade, palette knife, whatever you call these things, to paint this piece. So I am going to start with my pinks, and because I need something larger to be able to get my palette knife in there, I have just grabbed a glass plate. Again, I'll just be able to wash that off later. Let's just put a little out here just to get started. You can come back and wash any mistakes off. So if you have started a project and it is just not coming together like you want it, you have not cured it, you can absolutely take that to the sink and wash it and start over again. So don't forget that. I'm just going to start by dipping my palette knife into my paints and basically just setting that on there and pulling away for this actual look. Now, I really love the look that this palette knife adds with these glass paints. I just think it's interesting. Isn't that pretty? I just love the way, almost makes it look like a flower. just leave those spouts. Excuse me, we're having technical difficulties. You want to leave that alone near the tops of where I can't imagine anybody's going to be putting their mouth up against this and drinking it. But just in case, you want to make sure that you don't have paint where somebody's mouth may be going. Let's hope that their mouth wouldn't be going there, but who knows what people will do. Let me get some of this other pink here. Since these are similar colors, I am just kind of bringing those. I don't want it to look like that. Don't want it to have that line. Let me just do this one more time. Not, oh, that's better, I think. I'm using these two color paints because I think that they're going to blend very well. When I get finished with these, I will let this dry really well before starting my next color. Because if this mixes in with that pink, it just will go really nicely. I'm adding just a few little marks as I come up through here from these colors. And even mixing these, like I said. What you want to be careful not to do is to go in and smudge where you are working. So you may have to get just at different angles to keep that from happening. Actually, what I'm doing from this point is I am going to leave this to dry overnight, and then I'm going to start adding in my other colors. So it's that easy. You just decide on your design, grab your paints, grab whatever tools you're going to use, pick up something at a thrift store, and just concentrate on elevating that look. I'm really liking the way that these are looking. So this has dried, and I want to start adding in my next color. I did dry. This sat here for a couple of days. Probably 24 hours would have been sufficient. But I just got into doing other things and didn't get back to it. So let's see if we can just layer some of this up. Let me get that spot right there where I just did that. Did I get that off there good? And again, I am going to leave this side to dry and then come back to it and add in my last color, which is going to be this folk art Murano and gold. But let me just add, I've got some of this paint left, so just let me add a few of these little dots in here just to maybe pull in some interest. There we go. Let me do one right here also, just right here at the top of this. We are just taking some small bites out of this project every single time we work on it, and then we will let that dry for 24 hours, and I will go in and add my last color to this side, flip it over, and we'll do the other side. So this has dried thoroughly. The last step for getting this together, and that is going to be layering some of these leaves, I guess you would call them, just to give it more of that Murano glass look, where a lot of times those paints are just blended together. So that's what we're going to do. I didn't want the paints to mix, so that is why we let it dry completely before starting this next step. I will once again do one side, let it dry just to make sure that I'm not smearing anything, and then we will turn it over and do the second side of this to get that completed. So that's the main part of the process. When we come back, I will not show doing the other side. I will go ahead and complete that off screen, but then we will take a look at what it looks like with a nice red wine poured in there and see if we're happy with that. So thanks for sticking around. Check out the final results before you leave. And until next time, get out there, go thrifting, give it a beautiful glow up, and add it to your home. Until next time, bye.